baby!
Hey, how's it going? This is Danny from Made of Metal, aka Britain's Strongest Drummer, and I've got a slightly different video today. I have got a special guest, Mr. Ash Lapidge, owner of AL Fitness, and we are going to be talking about the upcoming UKNS UK Strongest Final, which is taking place in June in Galway. It's not too far away. I was devastated to realise that after England's Strongest Man last weekend, but you know, we've got to get the training in while we can. And there's a lot of lads that were at England's Strongest Man that are going to be in a similar boat to me. So, yeah, what we're going to do is go through the events, go through some of the athletes and potentially make some predictions. How are you doing, Mr. Lapidge?
Yeah, good. Cheers, mate. Good. Cheers. Big congratulations on your performance, mate. I know you're looking for that top 15 and you got it. It's always nice when you get goals, isn't it, like that? And makes you realise, keep going, keep chipping away. And you said top 10 next year, and I don't doubt it. So,
yeah. I mean, in terms of England's last weekend, if I was able to jump in on some of the heavier weights, there's no doubt I would have made the top 10. So that's going to be the goal for next year. But the goal for next month is UKNS. And you organised the Midlands qualifier. It was a busy weekend for you. You survived just about.
Yeah, first time actually doing a double header. Very different, yeah, but it is hard work. Luckily, I had a great crew around me, so that made a difference. Not just saying that because you helped on the Sunday as well. But yeah, both days were really good crew, really helped a lot. And it was just, a really good way to be involved with not to bring it up again, but what with being injured, I feel like I'm always saying, "Oh, I'm injured at the minute. Can't do it." Yeah, so it was really good to be involved and put on. Well, there wasn't a Midlands last year, was there? So for the first time, putting on a Midlands qualifier and a good little turnout, wasn't it?
I think it's testament to how popular this new tested pathway has become, because last year there was just a northern and a southern qualifier, whereas now they've introduced the Midlands in England as well. Obviously, there's Scotland and Ireland qualifiers going on.
I mean, all of them were busy, weren't they? All of them were busy.
Yes.
It's not like one that hardly had anyone. I mean, I thought mine, because not exactly the most well known sort of in the community sort of thing. I thought I would add the quite low numbers or something. I was happy to do it, but no, it was 50 odd athletes over the 2 days. So
yeah, certainly. I was there for the men's day on the Sunday, and yeah, it was each class was jam packed. I think there was only one masters athlete at the Midlands one, but that's probably going to change next year. I think the UKNS organisers are going to tweak a couple of things to maybe encourage some of the athletes of age to get involved.
I mean, you do learn and stuff, and you find out what might work. And even my little competitions, I think, oh, that don't really work. So next time I'm going to do this. And yeah, so I think they'll make some change, get the masters involved a lot more. And so yeah, even if you're top in 40, you can still get involved. Not competing against the young whippersnappers. That's not too far away, isn't it now?
Well, we won't dwell on that too much. I'm clinging on to the last vestiges of youth. But let's go through these events for the UKNS final.
Yes, yeah, looking forward to it.
We'll quickly whip through. Obviously, they're going to be. I'm not going to say the weights for every single weight class because we'd be all day. No. We're going to start off. The overhead event is a medley. It's a log and an axle floor to overhead, back and forth between the two.
That's right.
Time limit 75 seconds, and it has been written that you have to start with the log, which is something that I personally am not looking forward to too much, but
that's definitely an interesting sort of part of it, because a lot of the time you see that you can choose which one you want to go on first, or is axle first, or whatever. And it's definitely going to separate some people because 100 log. I mean, I know personally, I'm talking about the under 80s weights, obviously, a lot here, but I know that 100 log for a few of the lads is going to be a tough one. But I know a lot of them 100 axle pretty much no problem. So yeah,
it's
definitely working on the log.
Fairly big jumps as well, because I think under 80s is 100 kilograms for each implement, and I think the under 90s is 110.
So in 10s.
Quite a step above what it was at the qualifier for the log for reps. So that's going to be interesting. Then we've got an axle deadlift, 60 seconds, just standard axle from the floor.
Yeah.
Axle deadlifts all over the place at the minute. Very in vogue. Then we've got quite a unique event. We've got a Zercher yoke carry. I think that's going to be about 10 or 12 meters, and then run back and pick up 2 sandbags and load that over the yoke. 60-second time cap on that. I think I've got here 13 meters, but you know that's not going to make too much of a difference.
Yeah, 12, 13. Yeah, it says 12 on the Instagram post, but
yeah. So the Zercher yoke, that's something I've not actually tried yet. So I know it's going to be horrible, but I don't know how horrible it's going to be.
It is tough. I did one a couple of years ago, and it was 140 in an event. That was tough. So this is just like a low level, like under 90s or something like that. But I just remember that being tough. And so 180 for the under 80s, and looking at all the other weights for all the other categories, it's going to be tough, but it's not crazy. It's I know some people were saying about it being quite heavy, but now as I'm watching people's training, now after a few weeks of training it, as anything, now they're moving them. Now they're moving them quite well, and it's like, you know, it's probably not as bad as you probably first thought.
Yeah, and I mean, the loading of the bag shouldn't be too much of a problem because, you know, if you Zercher carrying the yoke, the bar's going to be pretty low anyway.
That's right. Yeah, it's going to be 3.5 foot for. Again, I'll keep referring to probably using the under 80s as a reference. I know it's not going to be. It's going to be a bit lower for say like under 57s, but what about here 4 foot less than that? Yeah. So it's scares. The sandbag load is going to be easy. It's just that you've got to pick it up, carry it as well, haven't you?
Yeah, it's going to be tough on the legs, and then going from that into the farmer's walk, which is 3 legs. Right. 12 meters each leg. I'll be honest, that's something at this point I'm pretty used to. There was
I was going to say that's pretty much the same as Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah. So Clash in the UK in December, there was a 40-meter farmer's carry, 4 legs of 10 meters. The UKNS the UKNS qualifiers. I think yours was the exception actually. Most of them had multiple legs, but you just did the 2.
I went with the 20 meters just because of how, if it was going to be at my place, that would have suited, and then obviously the place we ended up hiring, I knew it would suit there. So
and then England's strongest under 80, it was I think as written. So I think the UKNS weights are 110 kilograms each hand, 3 legs. It's going to be fairly similar. And as if that wasn't draining enough on the lower body, then it's a Husserfeld carry for max distance.
It's going to be a tough one. Yes.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be like the metal shield. I think I've seen that used in some of the GSP. That's the gym that's hosting the competition. GSP.
They had the Irish qualifier, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's going to be fun, and then finishing off with a stone over bar, presumably a yoke, 75 seconds. Pretty standard way to finish off competitions these days. Some heavy object over a bar, just to properly finish people off.
125 for the under 80s, and it was 110. I did that at the qualifier.
Yeah.
And what was it, like 13, 14 reps was winning. So you think, 125.
Yeah, and the guys the guys at the Midlands qualifier for UKNS were going all out. I was spotting the under 80s and 90s,
Yeah,
and it just was it Matt Neese basically pretty much blacked out
it really did. It really
before
did.
the
I thought
final
Stone
rep.
was going to go over on him. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 crazy stuff. So
Yeah, a lot of the
six
guys.
events, which personally I'm not used to competitions with six events, so that's going to be interesting.
Well, you've
Of
been my October under 80s. That's 6 events.
course, yeah,
And that couple
yeah.
of times. Hopefully, that gives you a bit of a confidence boost because it's all mental, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. So what do you think looking at the events? What are your thoughts?
I think they're good events for a final. You think it's a UK final. It's meant to be heavy. It's not as heavy as I think people have maybe made out. Like it's sort of some sort of impossible. Especially when I've mentioned there about the Zercher, people were saying that's too heavy to move, but then those same people I've seen on their videos are actually moving them weights now.
Yeah,
So just needed work. That's all.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and I mean I like it. I wish I was involved. Wish I was doing it with you all. It's going to be challenging looking at all the different weight categories.
So
It's,
let's just talk quickly about
yeah,
the max distance carry because
right.
ever since England's last year, England's under 80s
Yeah, yeah,
last year,
yeah, yeah,
max distance carries have been in just about every competition I can think of, and I'm starting to think that they're being put in until Andrew Keys just
yeah. I
kills
knew
up.
you was going to say that.
Because Andrew Keys won the sandbag distance sandbag for max distance carry at England's. He won the max distance sandbag carry at the UKNS Southern qualifier. He
Midlands.
won the max.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that?
At the Midlands, at mine. He was at
Midlands, yeah.
Midlands.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry, mate.
England's. It wasn't the max distance event, which was the yoke into keg.
See, I thought
Then
that would catch him out. I thought that would get him a bit because it's 2 different implements. It's not really like hold on and go.
yeah,
But,
yeah. I think the guys at Chaos were hoping it would catch him out as well.
he got
And
injured,
then
didn't he? Yeah.
this Husserfeld carry, and I may or may not have seen the events for Britain's strongest under 80, and there may or may not be another max distance carry in that competition. And Andrew Keys did make the final, so yeah, I'm just hopefully
Like a banker event for him, isn't it? You know,
yeah. So I think
he's never going to lose the Stones. Andrew Keys never going to lose a max distance.
well, I'm hoping that if and when he does lose a max distance, they'll start being phased out because the novelty will wear off.
I mean that Husserfeld, it's a metal one, isn't it? It's not like a
Yeah.
stone or anything like that. So again, looking at that, he's going to take some beating on that because it's not as hard as like the stone ones. I've got a stone one at my place, and it just cuts into you and makes it very awkward and difficult. Metal one's a little bit more comfortable, but it's obviously still heavy.
Yeah.
Hard work, but that's not going to put him off, is it?
No, I don't think it is.
I used to think he had a trick about the sandbag, and it was, I don't know, some sort of knack to it or something. But he proved it wrong with the yoke and keg and still won that. There's no resting a yoke on your belt or any kind of trick or whatever.
No, and that
you
that
might be
keg was keg was awkward as well. Really, really awkward.
I wouldn't want to bet against him on that one.
On that one, yeah, that's kind of a banker. So, all right, let's move on to the athletes. We know the events. Now we can't know every single athlete in every single class, unfortunately. So if there's anyone that was a bit left out that we've not
I've looked
spoken
at
about,
them all, but yeah, because I'm sure brilliant athletes there that I don't know who they are myself. So yeah,
it's not because we don't think they're going to do very well. It's just that we've yet to see him perform, I
yeah,
suppose.
definitely
But
not.
yeah, looking forward to it. So, is there any particular? Obviously, we both know the under-80 class pretty well, so we'll probably save talking about that one.
Yeah, to the
But
end.
is there any other weight class? Because obviously you put on a lot of competitions for strong women, so
Yes, that's right.
you know quite a few of the athletes that are going to be there across the classes.
Yeah,
Let's start
so
with the under 57 kilogram class, the new class this year.
yeah.
Um,
Give me 1 second. Dog wants to go out.
oh,
Sorry, mate. Right,
that's all
under
right.
57s.
Yeah.
Yes. So just looking at the list here. So the Midland qualifier, we had winner was Hannah Fitzgerald, second was Sophie Gaskell, and third was Rebecca Polakowicz Peacock. Sorry if I've messed your name up there, Rebecca. Given that there's only the three of them, it was really competitive, and obviously Hannah has been a bit of a standout kind of performer though.
Yeah, Hannah's sort of proven herself across all sorts of different weight classes in all sorts of competitions as well. Hannah is not afraid of jumping in at the deep end, and I mean, in my experience, that's one of the best ways to improve. Like, if you wanna improve, like, get amongst the top level, the more challenging competitions. Right?
That's right. Yeah, don't worry about not winning and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, you go to win, but what I mean is, like you say, you learn a bit more sometimes, don't you?
Yeah,
I
100%.
mean, she just come second in an under 73s I put on, and
Yeah,
hit massive PBs, and some events were similar to what she's got coming up, and that as well. So, and I think we'll see her at Chaos Masters in a couple of days. So she's
couple
another
of
one.
days.
Yeah, yes.
Not afraid of competing so close to the final either.
No,
Right.
unless she was keeping that quiet. Sorry if I've given that away, and she wasn't. Didn't want people to know she was doing that one. So, so yeah, I don't know too many of the other athletes on that. I know Willow was at Scottish. Eileen Dewar. I'm sorry about these names. If I'm
Yeah, that's the name that I recognise.
Yeah, Davina Wallace, all really good athletes. From what I'm seeing on their pages, unfortunately, I've never met any of them. So, but just based on who I know, Hannah is going to be up there.
Yeah,
What do
yeah,
you think?
I think that's fair. I think Svetlana Sanova. Hopefully, I got that name fairly decently. Was it the Southern qualifier?
She was at
And
Southern, was she? See, I
yeah,
don't think I could find her on Instagram when I did a little bit of research for our chat
yeah,
today.
I think I remember her doing really well at that. I don't think it was a class that was full of people, but I think she walked away with the win there. So we got the under 64s. There's a great deal of talent in the under 64s as well.
Yeah, same with the under 64s. I mean, yeah, really good athletes. Got it. So April and Kaylee battled it out at the Midland qualifier, and they also competed in an under 64. Did in October, and they've been first and second, opposite to each other. So one's won one, one's come second, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a battle between them. I've met Naomi Handley a couple of times. She's done really well. Got Emma Wilson, Kim Ogden has been at my place, and not at the qualifier, but another competition. Really good athlete. So I mean, Leanne was third in that under 73 I was talking about. So I couldn't call it out of some of these. I wish I was there to watch.
Yeah, I reckon April's a decent. I think April and Kaylee decent shouts for a podium.
But no, isn't the under 64 champion there as well? It's from last year. Oh, I've got notes. 1 second.
I'm glad you have.
Um,
I couldn't remember all the champions from last year.
it's only because obviously some in other classes aren't going, are they?
Mm.
Elid Greg. God, I'm really sorry if I forgot if I'm saying the names wrong. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
he's last year's champion, so you can never count out the current champion as well.
No,
Yeah,
defending champions are going to be hungry to keep that title. Yeah, definitely. Speaking of returning champions in the under 73s, Chloe Brennan.
yeah, yeah.
How can you bet against Chloe Brennan in a weight class competition?
Definitely not. If you,
I know she's still fairly new to the under 73s though. I think only moved up at the later half of last year maybe.
yeah, I think after. Well, no, middle of the last year would have been this, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And then sort of like this year, I think it's been full on under 73s. So yeah, you definitely couldn't bet against her. I know Faye won the under 73s at the Midlands. Faye Pittman, very very good athlete. She's going to push her all the way though.
Yeah.
I think I've said this before, but on some of the events, she looked like she didn't really get out of second gear, and then it was just a couple of the like sandbag for distance, sort of. That maybe just dropped her a couple of points, but she's looking strong on again all of the videos. Not to be like an Instagram stalker or anything like that, just the stories that you watch and stuff like that.
Well, it's got to be done, isn't it? It's got to be done.
Yeah, yeah. Laura Hollywood,
Alicia Lumba did really well in the Scottish qualifier. I think won 4 out of 5 events, and
yeah,
she's very new to competition. I think she's been having some issues with injury that prevented her from deadlift, and that was the one event that she didn't win. But yeah, she's looking really strong coming into this.
Yeah. Another category on it looks like there's a few less names than say like the under 64s, but it still looks like it's going to be a really strong competition.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah, so I've met obviously a lot of these, and some of them have come to events at mine. So it'd be really good to see them at this sort of level, and good luck to them all.
Yeah. I know there's a couple of names in the under 82s. Desi Gillespie had a tremendous run last summer. I think won 4 competitions across 4 different weight classes in like a 4-week period. It was something ridiculous, and set, I want to say, a deadlift record.
Okay.
But I think Desi normally competes at under 73, so I think Desi's stepped up as well.
Yeah. I know she had. I think that was quite busy and stuff like that, so just took on the challenge and said, "I'll just stick to the 82s," and won a little head-to-head with Katie on the day at my place. Yeah, I think goes without saying, doesn't it? She's even normally being an under 73 in the 82s, she's going to be pushing the other girls, isn't she, all the way? And she was second, wasn't she second at UKNS last year in the 73s?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Second to Chloe. So
yeah.
So that's saying something, isn't it? So yeah. Yeah, but other than that, I don't know too many about the 82s. Have you? What was it like when you were at the Southern?
Honestly, I was pretty.
You didn't watch. Oh, that's terrible.
I was pretty narrow focused. There was.
You're saying you were concentrating on your own performance. Is that what it was? Terrible.
There was a couple of the under 80 guys which trying to chat with me in between events, and I was just like pacing. I was just pacing and said, "All right, leave you to it." So I did miss some of the people.
You can't really compete, and you can't track everyone and watch everyone and stuff. So.
Yeah, but I know Becca Morgan's been to OSG
All right.
last year, so she's going to be someone to keep an
I
eye on,
mean,
definitely.
everyone knows that if you even get to that point there, you're
Yeah,
obviously act.
yeah, and just a quick shout out in the masters category, Maria Krasinska. She
Yeah.
competed at the Arnold Amateur Log and Deadlift. Did really well there last year. Competes all the time. Um, Sarah Miles was at my Southern qualifier.
Right.
She turned up, and it was one of those competitions where she just wanted to hit PBs. She hit PBs, and so I think is going to take a similar sort of attitude to this, to the
Yeah,
final.
yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
turn up and see what she can do, sort of thing.
Well, while we're on the
Um,
Masters, give a little shout out to Claire and PJ who come to mine a fair bit to do competition. So good luck to you both. They'll be pushing all the way as well.
yeah, PJ's from around my way, so yeah, I've seen her at so many competitions. She's another one that doesn't stop competing. Just
I know,
clearly
yeah.
has a love for the sport, which is great. So yeah, let's breeze through the men.
Yeah, cool.
Um,
Zoom in on. So you going with the starting with under 90s because we want to. Did you want to finish on the lightweights?
yeah, well, I mean, I think between us we know quite a few under 90s, and we know all of the under 80s pretty much.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you remember from maybe the qualifier, or you've seen about in any of the other categories, the 105s, opens, masters?
Oh well, I mean, if I had to go with the 105s, the guy who won the Midlands was brilliant. Michael Tennant.
Yes.
He smashed the deadlift. I think was it 250 for reps. He did silly numbers. Again, can't remember exactly, but it was like 11, 12, 13 reps or something like that.
Yeah.
He won 3 out of 5 events, I think, or he won 2, joint first, and then a couple of seconds. Just really consistent, really solid. Yeah, and then just behind him was Dan Markham. So both those guys are going to be good. I know Glenn can't make it this year. He so that podium was brilliant, but Markham was definitely a level above. So he's beating them guys. He's definitely one to watch in the final.
Definitely. All right.
Yeah. That's so I'll definitely mention him. Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a quick chat about the under 90s, and I want to highlight Patrick Harris.
Right.
Patrick Harris is possibly a name that has flown under a lot of people's radars. He was at Britain's Strongest Man under 80 kilograms in 2021. Turned up with his kit in a Tesco carrier bag, just and absolutely smashed it. He is so strong. I forget where he placed, but I think it was the high teens. Just he had a smile on his face all day.
Yeah.
And then later that year, he qualified. This was when the first year the Arnold's UK ran the log and deadlift competition. He had to qualify. Patrick qualified, and so performed on that stage. I forget what the actual deadlift for reps and the log for reps were, but he did really well there.
In the 90s for that, was it?
No, that was he was under 80 for quite a long time, up until what was it, later half of last year. He very nearly set an under 80 kilogram Atlas Stone world record, which at the time,
I know you mean now. Yeah.
yeah, it was 180 kilogram stone, which he would have loaded if it wasn't a couple of steps behind the bar. So he had to pick it up on his chest, walk with it a couple of steps, and then try and pop it over. So he is strong as heck. There's no quit in the guy. And yeah, he's moved up to under 90. So he's
for the best, because if he was in the under 80s as well, Binek.
Yeah. So we know he's good at stones. I know he's really strong on deadlifts, strong overhead. So he could definitely be someone to look out for. Yeah, anyone you want to highlight?
Again, I'll probably just go with like who the guys that were at the Midland qualifier. Uh, the winner was Luke Shirley. Very good. Sort of again,
Tremendous.
and guys just had a smile on his face all day, and then every time he stepped up, he just smashed it out of the park. So I could see him doing it really, really well. Wouldn't be surprised if it podium win, whatever. And then actually Adam Walker, he comes second, but I think it was only his like second competition. I think he did like a novice a few months before, and then straight into that, and did really well. And there was a good like 8 or 9 guys in the under 90s, so it's not like he was second by default or anything like that. He beat some really good athletes.
He absolutely smashed the stone, right? Stone loading.
Yes. Yeah. I think he won that.
One motions. Was that him?
Yeah, like a pebble, just
Yeah.
it over. Yeah. So it's got stone over yoke again in the final, hasn't it?
Yeah.
A bit heavier, but he'll do it. He'll do it.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. So
Craig Lewis. Is Craig Lewis someone you're familiar with? He's a Scottish guy. And he's another one that competes in everything. I think he does some Highland Games stuff. He does CrossFit, so he's got the conditioning, and also does strongman as well. He's going to be really good.
So one of the Scottish boys, yeah.
Yeah. And I think Jim James as well.
Jim James.
Yes, he won the Northern. I think he definitely made the podium at the Northern, and he is coached by Rich Molnar, and so I've been seeing lots of his training videos, and and he's looking strong, he's looking ready.
Yeah, I think I saw a story even just like today or yesterday. Rich is saying that looking good for the UKNS. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want someone in your corner training you, why not? Deadlifters on the planet.
If he says he's going to be pushing for it, isn't he? He means it. He wouldn't talk rubbish just to big up one of his clients. He means it if he says he's going to be pushing for the win there. So
yeah, he's not one to just be nice for the sake of it, is he?
No, definitely not.
All right. So the under-80s. The under-80s. We both know pretty much everyone in the weight class. We've competed alongside them or hosted competitions that they've been at. This is going to be very, very, very competitive. So 3 of the top 10 at England's Strongest Man under 80 kilograms are going to be there at the final in Matt Neese, Matt Wally, and Andrew Keys.
Yeah.
Doug Bennett came 14th. I came 15th.
Doug's, I think you said it as well. Doug's exactly who I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
Always competitive, wins a lot. I'll see him this weekend and next weekend competing. So
I was trying to remember. Like he's competing for the next 2 weekends.
Yeah.
And then a weekend off, and then
he might have a little break before the UKNS and have 3 weeks off before the final. So yeah. Props to him. He's going to do well. Yeah, Paul Bamber.
Kyle Scott. He was at Clash in the UK last year. He did really well, despite the fact I think he was quite ill beforehand.
Right.
Hugh Hartnett, who is untouchable on deadlift for reps.
It's kind of like Andrews for distance is in equivalent. It's him deadlift for reps. It's almost a banker event, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you beat him, you probably won that event.
Yeah. And John Martin is a Scottish guy.
Oh yeah.
So strong when it comes to stone. So I think you can pick out an event win for confidently pick out an event win for someone.
Oh yeah,
for each event from this lineup. Like Keys is going to win the max distance. Hugh Hartnett's going to win the deadlift. John Martin's probably going to take the stones.
Matt won the farmers at my place, fastest time of the day of all the men.
Yeah.
I know he had a little slip up on the England's, but you know, when you make a mistake at one, you don't tend to do it again on the next one on something like that. So
yeah, and he's really strong overhead as well.
Yeah. So
all right, we've got a couple of minutes left. So we've not predicted podiums for any of the other classes, so let's commit to a podium.
Well, I think we've said who we think are going to be pushing for a win, so we'll go with that. Yeah.
let's commit to a podium for the under 80s. Class that's nearest and dearest. I'll go first.
You want to go first? Go on then.
I think this is Matt Neace's competition to lose. He will smash the overheads.
It means business, really.
He will do really well on the deadlift. The farmers, he could very easily win. The stone, the way he was ragdolling the 140 kilogram sandbag, like stones are going to be no problem. And also, like he took the joint win at the Midlands qualifier as well, didn't he? Matt Neace on the stones, I think.
On the stones, yes, on the stones, yeah.
So, I mean, I could just cop out and say Matt Neace, Andrew Keys, and Matt Wally.
Yeah.
The top 10 from England's strongest, because that was a heavy competition. So, presuming everybody goes in healthy,
you know what, you couldn't argue against that. Yeah, maybe pushing them, John Martin, Hugh. Cheeky little top 5 prediction. I'm going to go with a fellow here at the top, Danny Curtis. In the top 5. Remember, top 5 qualify for Worlds in September as well. And so anyone watching this, make sure you get in that top 5.
All right, we are going to get cut off very soon. So I'm going to thank you very much for your time. If those predictions pan out, and catch up after the competitions, and we know who's going to qualify for Worlds. So cheers, Ash.
Good luck, mate. Train hard, and I know you do well. Quick little shout out, Deadlist for Depression. Follow that page. It's Liam's. He wants to get the message out there. So Deadlist for Depression. I'm sure you'll find it if you search it. So
perfect.
Did ask me to, if I remembered. So
good.
Cool. See you later, Danny. Thanks, mate. See you, everyone. Good luck.